Space. Space? What is space? Is this a space? NASA released pictures of space quite recently. Hogs of War actually has plenty of space-themed maps, perhaps the most well-known one being
Pigs in Space!
The multiplayer map, to you and me known as Pigs in Space, holds a deep secret that I have never seen before until the other day. Within the game files, the map is known as Luna 1, and that got me thinking about how it looked in its past versions. We've talked about the development of different maps a ton on this channel, and the space theme ones, from my own knowledge, had never really had anything that interesting. In the final version of Pigs in Space, we have the assets that are only found in this level. They are the only sort of space themed ones that we have, and they're basically a bunch of shapes. That's it. They are meant to be some kind of moon base, and we do have the rocket as well, which is pretty cool, but they can only be found on this map in this mode. So keeping that in mind, I went ahead and took a look at the version of the map that was found in the Alpha build of Hogs of War, and it was completely empty, except for one special thing. So at first glance, they, look somewhat spacey. You zoom in and they seem to hold the same colour palette as we find on the assets in the final version of Hogs, and as you can see, it is somewhat vehicle shaped. I can't tell if this bit is like a seat that the pig would sit in maybe, or it's just meant to be some kind of like radar dish. There was a time actually when I was contemplating what way was actually the front, because when you look at it from the side you have the two medal symbols as well, which kind of looks like a PlayStation controller. I don't know if that's just me, but that's the that's the vibe I get looking at it. But yeah, initially I was like, well, it could be facing this way. It could even be coming at you from this direction, so like forward would be that way. But I think based on the existing Hogs vehicles that we do have in the duck and the truck, it's primarily going to be a rectangle that is coming at you from this direction. There was even detail underneath as well, which made me question whether it would like hover above the ground, but honestly it's just such a cool and niche little thing that I had to do some kind of deep dive on it and try and find out some more information. As far as the game was telling me, this is a tank. What kind of tank? No idea. What was its abilities? Not a clue. How does it look in game? We'll see. Naturally, my first response was to jump onto Twitter and get in touch with Jacob Habgood, the original lead programmer on the Hogs of War project. After my initial first message, he simply responded with
hog emoji, alien emoji, explosion.
I didn't know what to say. But then he confirmed and said that he originally wanted the sequel to be that of Pigs in Space, but kind of like the Muppets, which was a bit weird.
What are you doing in my stomach?
I have no idea. I looked over and there was no womb.
So now we come to the actual in-game view here, and it's going to be a bit confusing because, well, where's the tank gone? It was right here, right? So, oh, it is invisible, which means that at this point it hadn't actually been fully implemented. So even though it's invisible, we can still see how it would move around. I mean, most of the tank-like vehicles were kind of like this already, so maybe the characteristics of said vehicle hadn't been added yet. There is a slight noise that plays when it's moving around, and I can move across water, but again, I'm not sure if it was affected by water or not. But considering that I haven't exploded yet, that seems pretty promising. I mean, more than likely it would have had some kind of weapon attached to it. I think I'm bumping into the other tank here actually. It's kind of in the way, but Albert's going to keep shooting at it. I'm curious to see if it explodes actually. Can he damage it enough, or can it be destroyed? Hello? Wait, why am I down here? What? How did I get down there? So did his grenade blast the tank down here? I don't know, that's kind of weird. But the other cool thing is being able to see the ripple effect on the water here as well. This is something that I just love seeing and I wish it was in the final game to give that little bit more detail, because it really works here. Sadly, the tiles do easily break after any kind of explosion, but nevertheless, that is the space tank. So sadly, once again, we have an asset in Hogs of War that we don't really know much details about. How much health it had, what it did, what it could do in the game, what it could achieve for the player. Was it powerful? Was it overpowered? Was it crazy? All of these details we don't really know, but at least we do have some kind of visual representation of what said vehicle looked like. Basing things off the current game, the final version of Hogs, and looking at other things, other assets that are kind of similar, like the bunker that we find on the map High Road, you can kind of put the pieces together as to how they would have functioned, but overall it remains a mystery. As always, I want to hear your thoughts on the space tank in the comments below. What do you think it could have done? Could it have been used on other maps to make them more interesting? And why do you think it eventually wasn't used? Let me know your thoughts on everything in the comments below. My thinking is that it was basically the same as the duck, in that you were able to use it to traverse across water and stuff, so there was never really any need to put it on that map as well, because maybe it wasn't balanced well enough, maybe it just wasn't needed, because I feel like the map Pigs in Space works well with just the pigs anyway. It's never really needed any vehicles to spice things up. But like I said, let me know everything you have to say in the comments, and I will catch you guys later for more secrets in the next one.